Hey guys, we're looking at the closed guard position. First thing to identify, two parts of the closed guard, a top and a bottom. Look at the top position of the closed guard, which is what we will be looking at today. We're going to look at what we're trying to achieve. First thing we're going to try and achieve is to pass the guard or escape from the legs. You cannot get an effective submission whilst in a competent individual's closed guard. The torque from the legs is simply too much for us to get around. So when we're in someone's closed guard, what we're going to try and achieve is number one, maintain a very good posture, control their upper limbs, control them from being able to control us. Thereafter, breaking the knot before we initiate a pass. You can't pass open guard, guys, until you've crossed and broken the opponent's closed guard. Okay, so we're going to start with the knot breaks from closed guard position. From the knot breaks, the first one we're going to look at is the knee up to center knot break. When you're breaking the feet, guys, first thing you want to work on is your footing and your posture and your base. If I'm hunched over and the opponent's got my head or they've wrapped my arm, this makes it difficult for me to apply torque on the knot of the opponent's guard. We want to put as much torque on the opponent's weakest point, which is the connection of their feet. First way of doing this, we want to make our body as long as we can. So I want to posture. I want to get rid of whatever grips the opponent may have on me to ensure I can posture up. The next thing I want to do is take control of the hips. Okay, both hands are going to come onto the hips with my elbows on the inside of the opponent's legs. I'm going to take one knee, in this case my right knee, and place it in line with my opponent's spine, right up the center, in line of their spine, center of the body. I want to cut a 90 with my outside knee. I'm then going to sit towards my heels. My butt's going towards my heels, taking my head forward, pushing my butt back to get the opponent's knot to break. I'm applying max pressure on the weakest point of the knot to get the break. Guys, I can also use my hand to apply downward pressure on the outside leg. So if my outside leg is my left leg, I can apply downward pressure on the leg to that side. I can also push on the knee. Try and avoid taking your elbow and digging it into the opponent's leg. This is not very effective at a higher level. Second knot break is the reach behind. The reach behind occurs, I set it up in the same way as the knee up the center, knee in line with the spine, cut a 45 degree. The center knot break involves me initiating it very similar. The reach behind knot break works very similar to the knee up the center knot break. One knee comes in line with the spine, the other cuts a 45. From here, I'm taking my hand on my leg side that's cut outwards and reaching behind the opponent's legs. Do not reach in the front of your line or in front of the opponent's knee line. You can get caught in a triangle. When you're initiating this kind of knot break, make sure that you're feeling the opponent's reaction. I've got one hand on the hip. I can even have one hand on the chest. If I feel they're posturing up, I can always drive them back down. Or if I feel their legs coming up for initiating a triangle, I can always bail on the knot break. Okay, so this one you've got to monitor. Knee up the center, foot on the hips. Good posture, take your hand, reach behind towards the leg. I'm running the forearm along the calf and pointing it up to the ceiling. As soon as that knot breaks open, I want to secure the top knee and step up with my front knee. As soon as the knot break opens, guys, we want to secure the leg on the side to which I had my knee out at an angle. My front knee wants to step up immediately, so that reacquiring the opponent's guard is going to be more difficult. The third knot break, guys, which involves us getting to our feet. When we get to our feet, the first thing we want to be able to do is control the upper torso of the opponent so they can't grab us on the way up. We could do this by taking our hands with our thumbs facing to the ceiling and hold it underneath the opponent's armpits. I then get to my feet by either stagger stepping one leg at a time, or by hopping. I drive my weight forward. Once on our feet, guys, we want to keep our feet staggered, so not both feet standing next to one another. If I'm standing in line, I'm going to get tripped over backwards. I'm going to have one leg forward, one leg back. I'm applying inward pressure with my knee. My leg to the rear, the back leg, I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to place it on the knee of the opponent that's over that leg. I'm going to bounce my weight whilst pumping on the knee to break the knot. My inside hand, I'm running my forearm against the opponent's quad. I don't have to hold their hip. As long as it's on the inside ridge of the quad, just behind the knee. I'm bouncing my weight to get the legs to pop open. As soon as they're open, guys, I'm going to take my leg on the outside and step it in. And prep myself for my pass. Secure the arms. Step up. Stagger step. One forward, one back. Block the inside of the knee. Prop on the leg that's to the rear. Bounce on the knee. As soon as it pops open, step in, step to the side. Third method, utilizing a standing posture to break the knot, is bringing both our knees up the center of the opponent's butt. Both our hands, we want to take it underneath the opponent's armpit. We want to walk our legs forward. We then want to get our knees together and we want to shift our weight to our heels, causing the knot to break. As soon as the knot breaks, guys, you want to stagger your step. You stagger your footwork immediately so you're not caught with a simple idiot sweep. As soon as it pops open, step up to the side. 1, 2, knees together, posture back, posture back. As soon as I felt that the legs have opened, guys, and I popped in the hips, I want to immediately stagger step for my pass. Okay, guys, once you've gotten the legs open, thereafter we are going to initiate our passes. The first thing to understand is the directions we can pass across when confronted with the guard. So once the knot's been broken, no matter how I do it, the first thing I'm going to do is maintain our width and our length. So it's not easy for the opponent to reacquire the guard. We do this by simply bringing up our leg on the inside. So my front leg, I place it on the floor with my knee facing to the ceiling. So once we've made ourselves a longer object to reacquire the guard, we're now going to look at passing. Passing can be done in a number of ways. The angles in which you can pass are over, around, or under the legs. They can be done from a low position, where you are either on one leg and a knee, or from a standing position. We're going to first look at them from a lower position, where we have our feet and our knees closer to the mat. The knee slide pass. First way to do a knee slide, guys, we've opened the knot, we've opened the space. My leg that's postured upright is going to cut diagonally across the opponent's quad. My knee is going to come through without resting on the opposite side. If my right leg's up, it's cutting to my left side. I want my hip to come across the leg and thereafter control this cavity as quickly as possible. My outside hand can keep the gap open. My inside hand will look to acquire the underhook while simultaneously getting the knee slide. So 1, 2, I point my knee away, I slide my hip through, get over the legs, and immediately get my hip up against the opponent's hip. I then go straight to standard side control, acquire hip control. And finish. Slide, keep the space open, control the knee, point the knee away, slide the hip through into the cavity, secure the position. The second way to do a knee slide is to take your knee to the opposite direction. So, same thing, my right knee is up, but now instead of my right knee going to the left, my right knee is going to cut across to the same side. So right knee is going to go right. In this particular case, we're not going to follow through. We're going to hold the position to allow for our inside leg to come out. Once the inside leg's out, thereafter we're going to remove this top knee. So the knee comes through. I'm going to secure the head by getting an underhook and an overhook. I'm then going to take out my inside knee and I'm going to place my knee in this cavity of the hip between my right leg and the opponent's hip. So it's sitting side by side. If I open up, that's what it would look like with my chest lower in. Once this inside leg is out, my hook is removed and I secure the position. So one more time, what that looks like. Front knee up to the same side, control the head, right, put the knee into the hip, remove the foot, slide through. So with the knee slide on the same side, whichever knee is up, that's the side to which we're going to knee slide. My left knee is up, I'm going left. First thing, pin the leg. Take a side step, the knee comes down to the mat. Once it's on the mat, we want to secure the upper part of the opponent's body, the shoulders and the head. Once I've got this control, what's going to happen on the lower end is my inside leg is going to cut to the inside cavity between the hip and my leg. Secure the upper torso, remove my inside leg, and thereafter pass. Two methods of doing your knee slide. The first one we saw, we slide our hip right through. The other way to do it is to put our knee to the mat and pivot on the knee. An alternative way to do a knee slide is to take my knee to the mat and thereafter, without sliding my hip across, simply pivoting on my knee. So the knee comes down to the mat and then I simply keep pressure on that knee, secure the upper torso of the opponent and rotate on the knee. The difference is from the first way and the second way. The first way, I take my hip and I slide right through. The second method, I simply pin the knee, keep my chest low, and pivot on that knee. That's a smaller area to cover. The third way to do your knee slide is to blast through. So once we've opened up the guard, I'm going to take my leg on the opposite side of the foot that's placed up, guys. And the foot that's placed up is not right under the opponent. There's some space between me and the opponent's body. I'm going to take my leg and I'm going to place the shin behind the calf. And I'm going to walk my leg nice and high. I'm going to get some tension in the opponent's leg. When I feel there's tension, generally the person is going to want to try to pull their leg back into play. As I feel that tension being pulled into my shin, I'm going to release it and fly through with my top knee, simultaneously acquiring my top body control. You can also use your hand to guide that leg through as you pass. The next thing to look out for when passing the opponent's guard is allowing yourself to get to your feet. When you get to your feet, it gives you the ability to move at a much quicker pace and you have a greater number of angles to attack from. So you've broken open the knot and thereafter you are going to get to your feet and then look for a pass. Escape to work on is simply cutting around the side of the legs, known as the Toriander pass. The Toriander pass would require my leg to cut across to the opposite side. So my left leg would step to the right. I'm trying to get my foot as far past the knee line as I can and as close to the opponent's hips. My hand to the side I'm passing is going to control the knee. I'm going to pass the knee across and make a rapid step inwards. I want to have a nice firm base with my outside foot when I do this. Thereafter, I can settle in to a side control position. Have a nice good low base, control the knees, pass it across to the opposite side and Toriander pass. You can also pass on the same leg, on the same side of the hip you're turning to. So my outside leg, my right leg, can step to the outside of the near leg, opposite to the Toriander. So my right leg will step in and I'll pivot around, blocking the hip once again with my foot and my ankle, way past the knee line and just above the hip. Same side pass. Eventually we would settle from here, posture our hand and allow our legs to travel over the opponent's body to secure the pass. Another way you could pass is by going underneath the opponent's legs, getting them into a stacked position, putting pressure and circling off. A stacked pass can happen from either my knees or from a standing position. We're going to start from on our knees. Once I've popped open the guard, I'm going to feed both my hands underneath the hamstring and I'm going to drive my weight into the opponent, securing a gable grip. The trick here now is to get the opponent's hips off the floor and to drag them onto their shoulders. Take my chest, get it as low as I can to the opponent's spine. The lower I can get, the better. I want to get myself almost into a push-up position. From here, my hand is going to cross to the opposite side. If I'm passing to the left, my left hand reaches for the opponent's left shoulder. I walk my feet, pass the legs across, and acquire the side control position.